going to show you the trade of the day yesterday in NQQS. We talked about the long side when we first released this strategy. Then we showed you the short side as well in October. And the short side's still working. I've been biased on the long side. Best way to do this is to trade long and short at the same time. Unless you get that bias right, you will potentially miss these trades right here. And this captured almost 200 points yesterday in the NQ. And I want to show you the results for this TradeStation Performance Summary. We have two different windows, one for the long side, one for the short side. And the reason we do that is so that you can carry through the trade and take the short trade only. If you trade the long and the short, it'll flip the long trade to the short trade, or the short trade to the long trade, and it won't carry the trade to completion. For example, if you get the short signal first, and then, for example, if you get a long signal, you would be long and then stopped out, and you wouldn't get this complete short trade. So you would trade them in two different windows, and here are the results. Big drawdown, but when we complement that with the long side in the other window, I'll show you the combined results in the Excel spreadsheet that we have. Keep in mind, this strategy has a very tight stop loss of $300. And so when you cut your losses short, keep your stop loss at 300. We use $25 round turn slippage and commission. So when you use $300 stop loss and you let your profits run, you get these big differences between your largest losing trade and your largest winning trade. But when you have a tight stop loss, you also get a very low percentage of profitability because you're cutting your losses short on a tight stop and letting your profits run. And so you're shorting this here, and it did well yesterday. Many times that will get stopped out though. But here's the equity curve since the beginning of October, up about 18K. Started at minus 2290, and you're up here at 18K now. And the 2290 number is from 10.8. So from 10.8 to here, it's actually up about 20K, but up about 18K from the beginning of October. And so while you want to capture this equity curve, you may not like this equity curve. And so what do? This is a very simple, very simple strategy. And so we can combine the long and the short side, because the long side did well during this time period, and then it did poorly during this time period. But the short side did better than the long side did on the downside as far as the drawdown. The drawdown on the long side was much less than the run up on the short side. And so let's take a look at that. Here is the long side, and you can see the long side did well during this time period, and it did poorly during this time period, but the drawdown here from the beginning of October is much less than the run up on the short side, because we're using those tight stop losses. And so let's click on this. You see the trade yesterday on the long side was a loss, but it's a $300 stop loss, which is very small and very tight. And so you see the performance stats. When you combine these, when you combine the long and the short side, you'll see that the worst case drawdown is around 10K. Where if you just trade the short side by itself, it's 14K. And so here is the long side once again, and you see those results. Again, the largest losing trade is 325. The largest winning trade is 3025. And I'm going to show you the Excel spreadsheet now that will allow you to trade, will allow you to analyze the results in this window. So if you add these two strategies, just these two strategies are on 15-second charts, so we have about a year's worth of data. You see the equity curve here, and you see the drawdown curve here, almost 10,000, but in 2018, 29,100. And so you have a worst case losing month of minus 75.70, and then a best month of 12,745. And that's where we're at this month so far on the combined results for these 545. And so this is through November the 19th, Monday. That's yesterday. And so that was the trade of the day. This is the spreadsheet that we use for portfolio analysis. You can do combined equity curve analysis because all the data is in this spreadsheet.